There we go. No idea why. It's been months. Restream does not, when you click go live, it does not go live. You have to click it like 15 times. Oh my God. Was hoping for a little better result now with a special show today in the noon hour. That's right. It's a return to the High Noon Rant with me, Pugs Moran. Live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the E Gallery in Dallas's beautiful design district. Talk radio for normal people. Normal person needs a drink of water. All right. Seeing who we got here. See, I'm wondering if we're going to get anybody new. We used to do this show right about this time every day for 3.5 years. Then we moved it to 2. The show absolutely bottomed out. There was nothing there. I obviously we lost a few people. So here we were working this morning on something very exciting we're doing here at the E Gallery on Dragon Street in Dallas's fabulous design district. I have to say it like that every time because it just rolls so effortlessly. We're doing some work here, having some meetings, and some of the other shows that we produce around here are recording right now as we speak in another studio. So I decided, why not? Pop on, let's do a noon show. Got to do these daily shows when they work, when you can fit them in. Let's see, we got, it's all Peter and April. That's it, Peter and April, the only people in the chat room. Any old friends out there? Any old friends that we lost during the Great Purge when we moved from noon to 2? I want to say hi. All right. The voice is going. The voice is shot. I was screaming last night. Last night was our Strokers debut. Strokers right there on Harry Hines, the legendary Rick Fairless Strokers bar and motorcycle shop. They got like the exotic motorcycle shop there. We're doing every Monday night out there. We're calling it game night. Last night, here's what we did. We did a round of trivia because why not? That's one of the games we played. We did one round of trivia. Then we played music bingo. And let me tell you guys, this was my first experience with the whole music bingo genre. I can work with that. I can work with music bingo. Here's all it is. I didn't know really what it was. We print out these cards. It's got all kinds of names of bands, and songs, right? And then we just play on a speaker like a minute and a half of a song. And all right, is we back? All right, I think for some reason, Restream just unexpectedly shut down on us, so I apologize. We unveiled a third new game last night for our little trash trivia and DFW games business that we're doing now. Paper football. Paper friggin' football. Remember, guys? Remember, like in class when, there was time to kill and we'd fold up a little piece of paper and we had a table and then you'd play paper football and you'd try. Yeah, well, we're bringing that game to bars and we've got a real table. Here, I can show it to you. Show you an example. Oh, people loved it. Seriously, it was everyone who played was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. And I started to play it because I ain't played paper football in 50 years. Well, 40 years, 35, whatever. It's intoxicating. The way you get immediately transported back to, I don't know, some class with a substitute teacher where everybody's dicking around and suddenly you're in the back playing paper football. Check this out. Brandon built this table for paper football. You see it? He's got a real table for paper football, and then he's got real paper footballs, and they're made of like cloth. It's like really cool. Let's see. Is this a video? I think it is a video. Let me see. All right, here we go. From last night. By the way, this was Gerald. Gerald here is now setting up to be the goalposts, and this is Kirk. Kirk is an older man. Kirk was around 60. He probably played a lot of paper football back in the 70s. He dominated. Although, as we see here, Kirk, field goals. You can either still kick paper football field goals or you can't. Let's see how Kirk did. Yeah, that's not good. That wasn't good. That was, let's see it again. Let's see where he made his mistake. No, he didn't know what he was doing there. But the man had a velvet touch with the first 2 plays. Kirk is your champion, first champion of paper football. We debuted that last night out at Strokers, where we'll be every Monday night for game night. Strokers every Monday night is going to be multiple games, different kinds of things. By the way, if you want to follow everything that we're doing, you should probably go check out our Facebook page. Please like and follow. It will post everywhere we're going to be, when we're going to be there. Trash, Trivia, Games, DFW on Facebook. Come one, come all. The nights are piling up. We're going to be out every night. Hey, this is a good side gig, man. This is a good side hustle for me. You people, I hope you're happy for me, because it's been a really difficult struggle, as you all know. And I'm going to keep doing the shows, but we're going to supplement. And I got to tell you, I was like, I'm too old to bartend. Look, I know that I could walk into any bar anywhere, and if it's a decent night, I can make at least $100. I'm a good bartender. I'm great with people. We have fun. Here's the thing. I'm a bit of a vet. And at this point, if I step behind a bar, I'm going to bum people out. People are going to be bummed out. They're going to be like, oh, that guy made some bad decisions. Look at him. He's like in his mid-50s and he's tending bar. So that was something that I didn't know I could really handle. And, Uber and driving, no, that's not a thing either. So I am blessed to be partnering with Brandon and Sunbrew and that big machine. And we are doing party nights. Monday nights at Strokers, game nights. And once again, please like on Facebook. Please help us out, right? No, seriously. This is so easy for you to do. Just help us out. Just go on your Facebook page to Trash Trivia Games DFW. Trash Trivia Games DFW. Give us a like, please. Help us build it. We just started it a couple weeks ago, and we haven't really been paying attention to it. But now that we've got multiple game nights throughout the Metroplex, we're going to start pushing that, and we're going to post all of our stuff there. So please help us out if you can. It's Trash Trivia Games DFW on Facebook. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Peter. Look at Peter saying nice things. Peter's, nice things are always welcome here. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that. That was last night. Tonight, of course, we go to the gold standard. It is the original Trash Trivia back at the back nine in Addison, 4060 Beltline Road in Addison. We start Trash Trivia. This is just hardcore trivia. We've built up this thing. We've got a group of players. They show up every week and they play and they expect a certain level of trivia, and I deliver every Tuesday at the back nine. Come take my quiz if you dare. That's tonight, 7:30 at the back nine. And then, of course, on Wednesdays, tomorrow, we have Bottle Rockets. If you're up in the Plano Legacy Village area, Bottle Rockets. We could use some help at Bottle Rockets. Bottle Rockets is not doing the people with, the people there that are there, they're playing and they're enjoying it. But more folks in that region. If you're in the Plano region, if you're in, the Legacy Village area, which is anywhere between like Parker and Corporate off the tollway, I guess, come on by and check us out. That's Wednesday night. But tonight we want to get you to Trash Trivia, the original Trash Trivia, which is happening at the back nine tonight. The back nine, 7:30, 4060 Beltline Road. Here you go, because I know April appreciates this. We're going to give you the categories. Tonight's original categories for Trash Trivia at the back nine, 4060 Beltline Road. Category one, or random, is going to be how we're going to start the first round. Category one. 2 rounds, 4 categories per round. The first round, first category is random. That's right, random. Just a little light stretching. I like to throw out questions from a myriad of different subjects and topics and all of that. Just kind of get it stretching. We're stretching our mind, right, before we get into the deliberate categories. Category 1 is random. Category 2, current events. We do this every week. I quiz you on the news events of the last week. How much do you remember of what happened last week? Current events is category 2 tonight at the back nine. Category 3, gangster actors. Yeah. I'm in a gangster mood. There's Jeff Ballard. Thank you, buddy. Jeff Ballard hit me to a new show on Netflix about Toronto gangsters. I didn't really know they had gangsters in Canada, but apparently they do, and I'm learning a lot about it, so thank you, Jeff Ballard. Gangster actors is category 3 tonight at Trash Trivia. I'm going to give you a classic gangster role. You told me the actor who portrayed that gangster actors. That's category 3 for tonight's Trash Trivia tournament at the Back 9 in Addison. Category 4, sports. Yeah, I figure we just do sports. Let's do a category of sports. We don't do much sports, so let's do sports. And by the way, this ain't like what was, it's sports, general sports knowledge. You don't have to like know any one specific thing about any one sport. It's not drilling down on basketball. We're going to do trivia from last year's NBA season. No, we're not doing that. General sports knowledge. What do you know? Where's the Baseball Hall of Fame? That's a good example of the kind of question that we're going to do in sports. Sports for everybody. Let's move on to round 2. Round 2 tonight at the Back 9, 4060 Beltline Road in Addison. Round 2 is going to start out again with random. I like to start each and every category, or each and every round with a little bit of light stretching. Random is category 1 in round 2. Then we're going to do Name the Band. It's kind of a variation of what we've been doing with music, where I'm giving you, 3 members of the band. You name the singer or whatever. I'll give you the other members. You give me the guitar player. That's how we've been doing it. Now we're going to just do Name the Band. I'm going to give you 3 classic hits from one band. You got to tell me what band had those hits. Name the Band. It's category 2 in round 2. Then we're going to do some normal trivia. History. I've realized that I haven't really done traditional trivia topics, so we've got a topic on history, world history. How much do you know is category 3. We're going to round things out because we're in a bar and we're eating and we're drinking at the Back 9. We're going to round it out. Final category of the night, food and drink. Trivia surrounding the worlds of food and drink. Them's your categories for tonight's Trash Trivia, 4060 Beltline Road there in Addison. Chat room, still got Peter and April. Pretty much just Peter and April. Oh, we got Frankie. Frankie. Wanted to say something to Frankie. Frankie was engaged. I don't even remember the subject. Frankie posted something in a thread that I think me and Frank and Ed Silla are involved in. Frankie posted something that really blew me away. It was really smart. It was thoughtful. Frankie, good on you. Don't remember what it was or what it was in context to, but I do know that I'm walking around today with a newfound respect for the way Frank's mind works. Very good. All right. Who else? Anybody else in the chat room? Where's everybody? Tell your friends we're back doing it at noon. We've got 2:00 numbers here. These are not noon numbers. Hi, Leslie C. Leslie C's here. Hello. Yeah, are you surprised? Are you surprised? I had Leslie, I'll play a little catch up for Leslie. It was a crazy morning. I got a big window here where I don't really have anything to do, so I figured I'd jump on and do the show at noon. So we're here. Some of the things. Hi, Mama B. Mama B is here. Love me some Mama B. Missed Mama B. What are we going to get into today? We're going to talk about Tylenol. Took some Tylenol last night in defiance. Idea. I'm like, I'll take Tylenol. I take Tylenol. Nothing wrong with Tylenol. We'll talk about Tylenol and why apparently we can't take Tylenol anymore. Because some dude with brain worms has a question. Oh yeah, I'll get into that. Kimmel, the return of Kimmel, as we were closing out the show yesterday. Breaking news, right? It was like the last thing we were doing. I was filling time, and I look over at the TV, and it's announced Jimmy Kimmel is back tonight. We'll talk about that. Who's going to see him and who's not going to see him? I think it's... Well, I'll save my comments on this for later. Let's see. What else we're going to get into today? We'll talk about this Elon's dad story. Elon Musk. Do we know about Elon Musk? He's kind of in the shadows. I know who he is just because, I'm into pop culture, and sometimes he says shit. Sometimes he says headline-making shit. The father of Elon Musk is making headlines today. New York Post posting a story about how he's a pedophile. Uh-oh. I don't know. New York Times is saying it. They're saying that he's diddling all of his kids, so we'll have to get into that. Figure out what that means. And let me tell you something. There is a really fucked up fact that I'm going to lay on you about Elon Musk's dad. He did something fucked up. And like, it's not even debatable. It's like there's paperwork that back it up. There's a marriage certificate. Oh yeah, we're getting into it. Yeah, Elon Musk's dad. Holy shit, the shit we learned from the New York Times today. Let's see, what else? Anything else I want to talk about? Oh yeah, okay, so we're going to have to do this. This is something that I've kind of pledged myself to this year. The death trilogies, celebrities and notable quotables and all that stuff. They die in threes. I've always been amazed by that. The rule of 3 deaths falling within 10 days of each other. Significant contributors to humanity falling within 10 days of each other. If 3 of them do, that's a trilogy. And in my mind, they all have to live together in an apartment in heaven, which makes this even more fun. But I've kind of become obsessed with it. So I went back to the start of 2025. I did this a couple months ago. Went back to the start of 2025. And I started from, midnight, January 1st, 2025. And then did all the celebrity deaths in threes. We have 19, I believe. 19 celebrity death trilogies in the year 2025. And we got to play a little catch up because we've had a whole bunch die in the last 2 weeks. So let's figure out what the latest death trilogy is. All right. Now I think that's it. I don't know. We'll probably do something else, but we'll find our way. Let's see here. Jeff Ballard's here back at noon. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. Billy Falk's here. My guy, Bill. Bill's going to be out at trivia tonight. Will you? All right. That's tonight. Trivia. What happened? What did I just do? What did I just do? I don't like that. I don't like that. What the fudge? No. Hold on, guys. I made a mistake. And now everything's screwed up. There we go. Look at that. I don't even know what I did. I hate this. You'd think after 4 years I'd have more familiarity with this platform we use to do this show every day. I do not. Trump was talking at the UN. That's what I'm watching right now. Breaking news. Trump's UN. London mayor. Trump's UN comments are appalling and bigoted. What'd he say? What'd he say? I was busy. I was in meetings. He was talking about, this is where we'll start today, I guess. He went in front of the UN today. And basically what's happening where the Israeli Hamas, Palestine, Gaza situation is concerned is that a whole bunch of Western countries, our allies, our friends, are now willing to acknowledge the Free State of Palestine? Is that what it is? I don't even know what they're calling it. I've tried to stay out of this story for so long, but I do understand these elements of it because I have long, probably going to be a shock. And you know what I think? Not a shock, because I think most people believe this. I've long believed in a 2-state solution. I've always thought let's just do 2 states. Why can't, right? I mean, we kind of carved out the state of Israel for the Israelis, and God love them. Got nothing against them. It seems like they're beautiful women. All I know about the Israelis is that their black ops and shit are top notch, and their women are beautiful. Whole Jew thing too. They're all Jews. They're all Jewish people, but that's not important to me. Hot women and badass fighters. That's what I know about Israel. But I don't know. I mean, this goes back. I've always kind of felt this way. Why can't they just have their own? Why can't we just have 2 states? And it seems like the opposition to 2 states is more like principled, like cause the terrorists can't win. Is that what it is? Well, so you got England, you got the UK. Who else? Like France, probably, right? I don't know, Germany, probably. They're all recognizing Palestine now as a way to try and make some headway with this horrible, horrible thing that's been going on now. How many years? 3 years? Are we coming? October 7th? Coming up. Is that it, right? 10-7? I don't know. Is it 3 years or 2 years? Whatever. It's way too long. There have been hostages. This thing needs to come to an end. So a bunch of our allies are like, maybe we ought to just, recognize Palestine and all that stuff. And they've begun to. Where's my chat room? My chat room went away. Now the chat room's back. Okay, thank you. And a bunch of them did yesterday, right? They're raising a flag at the Palestine embassy in England and all that. So Trump goes in front of the UN and he states our current position here in America, which is no to that. But I don't know what he said. I wasn't watching. I was busy. I'm trying to sell art, man. Trying to do, hustling over here. Oh, Jeff Ballard using phrases like Zionist. I wonder where he hears a phrase like that. I wonder what fucked up corner of the internet Jeff is like, becoming comfortable using phrases like Zionists. Shut up, dude. You're telling on yourself with words like that. Zionists. Ugh. The Zionists control the weather. I love Jeff. He hipped me to a really cool show on Netflix, but that's just stupid. Oh no, he's going deeper. He thinks folks are waking up to that. Coming around to the Jews controlling the weather, are they? All right. Look at Jeff out there. Jeff out there supporting Palestine. You terror supporter. See? Tricky position. What are we supposed to do? We're supposed to hate? Are you supposed to hate the Jews? Because, you're not Jeff. I'm not saying this about Jeff. But like for the anti-Semitic who is just, hard-boiled to hate the Jews, they don't really support Israel. But if they go to church, like a lot of them do, the church is telling them you got to support Israel. And then you got the president. The president's like, support Israel, but not the Palestinians. But then you got Jeff out here going, Zionists, which now we're back to the whole anti-Semitic thing. It's all so fucked up. How about this? How about just there are two groups of people that maybe you agree or disagree on a whole bunch of different issues, both cultural and worldview-wise. How about we just fucking stay out of it, leave them alone, let them have two fucking countries, and never go there if we so choose? How about that? How about that? That's happening over there. We got our own mess over here. Why are we so fucking worried about... Let Europe take it. I'm serious. Let Europe take it. If this is how Europe and the powers that be in Europe and the Western allies, who are at least, at the moment our allies, I don't know. I haven't read the comments that he made at the UN, so I have no idea what our president did. What the hell is that? Hold on. I just got a weird... All right. Just got a hey Kojak. I just got a Facebook message from my boy Kojak, who I love. I was just thinking about over the weekend. Never mind. Don't do that during the show. Say that in the chat room, Coach. Come on, baby. Frank's got a comment on this whole thing. Let's see what Frank has to say after complimenting him earlier. Being anti-Zionist isn't the same as anti-Semitic. It is the normal people, Frank. I know in your little meetings that you and Jeff go to where you try and explain how are we going to talk about this publicly and what are we going to say? But to the rest of us, normal people, yeah, you've just outed yourself with the use of a word that, suggests your reading habits. How about that? That's what I'll say. I know. Peter's like, you got him going now. That's my job. I like this. I like fucking with the chat room, especially when they're wrong. Trump and Zelensky hold meeting at the United Nations. All right, that's breaking news. That's going on. What's the latest over there? I mean, I remember, didn't he kind of take credit after meeting with Putin? He's like, I solved another war. And then Putin just went back to being worse than he ever was. So now he's meeting with Zelensky. Bro, look, all I can say is that he's spinning plates. He's doing everything he can. The man stopped 7 wars. Where is this coming from? There are only 2 wars that we really know about and care about. You got the thing happening in Ukraine with Russia. That's still going on last I checked. And then we got the other one between the Israelis and Hamas, Palestinians. I don't know how are we phrasing this. I don't even care that much about it. All right, so we got those 2. Those are still going on. All right, so there's 7 other wars that happened and you solved before. He's done this now for months. He gets up on stage and he starts bragging about how he solved or he fixed or ended 7 wars. That's not a real accomplishment when the people don't even know these wars are going on. And also when you're like, sketchy with, the shit you say detail wise and facts based details, right, are always kind of a little slippery with you. And we don't know that there were actually 7 wars. What are you talking about? Did some tribe in the Congo not invade another tribe because you sent a diplomat down? Okay, you don't get credit for that. That seems like everyday shit that the United States does. Well, there was a jungle people in the Philippines who tried to... No, you don't. That's not a war. We only consider wars ones that we are actually, have something at stake, like with Israel and all of that, or even Eastern Europe, if we're talking about Ukraine. Otherwise, we don't care. The world is filled with wars we don't care. Unless they affect the price of oil or coffee, we're going to stay out of it. Frankie says we need to give Ukraine and Israel and Palestine millions of dollars. I gotta be honest, that seems like a take that I would not expect from Frank. I don't know. I don't know how all this works. I'm not smart enough and I'm not arrogant enough to sit here and pretend like I know how budgeting for wars work. I know a whole bunch of you guys do. You watch a couple of YouTube videos and suddenly you're fucking UN ambassadors. I don't know how it works. I don't know. Millions? Maybe billions. Hell, I've heard trillions when wars are at stake. I have no idea, Frankie. That you got to be honest, Frankie. That sounds a little liberal. Leslie says he's also cured autism. Okay, so let's move into that. Because that's another thing. So Tylenol, we can't take Tylenol now. So yesterday the president gets up, big announcement. It was supposed to happen at 3:00. I think it finally happened around 4:30, 4:45. Probably just trying to make sure that the stock market was closed before they hit the air with tanking an American company, which I thought Tylenol. What are they owned by? Some Czechoslovakian pharmaceutical firm these days? Who's running them? I always thought of them as a Johnson & Johnson product, a great American company. Who doesn't like baby oil? Baby aspirin, right? Oh, no, that's Bayer. It's Bayer, Johnson & Johnson, whatever. Tylenol is not owned by Johnson & Johnson. So when I saw that, I went, oh, Johnson & Johnson doesn't own them anymore. It must be some, European or Asian conglomerate that is taking them over. No, it's the parent company of the parent company of the parent company, the quiet, scary company. It's an American company. So Tylenol is an American company. So I don't know what this is about other than the president is just truthfully, believes Robert F. Kennedy Jr., which, look, I'm old enough to remember when Jenny McCarthy was basically laughed out of a career because she said her kid was autistic because he sniffed carpets that had just been cleaned. And she said it's carpet cleaner that causes autism. Do you know what causes autism? I can tell you what causes autism, kids. Testing and diagnosis causes autism. Okay. So when we look at this boom in autism diagnosis over the past 25 years, we're shocked. There are so many more kids who are now diagnosed and on the spectrum with autism. Way more than in the 70s and 80s, because nobody was tested in the 70s and 80s and 60s and 50s for autism. Now, I'm not saying that this is the reason. I don't know, but it seems like nobody is mentioning that autism awareness is a relatively new thing. Kids were always just weird. Have you ever met somebody in their 60s or 70s who is obviously autistic but has never been diagnosed? I know quite a few. Highly functioning people who are obviously on the spectrum who, because they came of age in the 1970s and 1980s when we just thought people were weird, they went undiagnosed. So therefore, their generational cohort will have lower numbers than more recent ones. That seems obvious to me. And then when they start using examples like the fucking Amish who do not go to Western doctors or utilize any of the benefits of modern science, when you point to this group of people and say they don't have any autism, I say because they're not diagnosed. And I would also argue that just being Amish means you're on the fucking spectrum. What? Right? These are people who in the modern world actively choose to live this way. There's something wrong with them to begin with, and they're not getting tested because they don't go to doctors regularly. Holy shit. There, Frank, okay, Frank, I'm sorry, a little bit behind. I just answered your question. Frank just said the Amish don't have autism. What are they doing that normal people aren't? Not getting tested for autism, Frank. It's that fucking simple. These people don't have lights. You think they drive to the big city to get tested at a hospital? No, they don't. And that's why their rates are so low. That is obvious. Okay. Peter says, back in those days, back in our days, Peter, back in our days, let's call them back in our day. Back in our days, the really autistic kids were in classes with special ed kids. Yeah, they were. Yeah, we had, we used to derisively refer to it as the rubber room at the end of the class, at the end of the hallway. Interestingly enough, our running back on our football team was in the rubber room, and he was dumb as a bag of hammers, absolutely on the spectrum, but holy shit, could he run the rock. Hey, let's put the borderline retarded kid in the backfield and see what happens. Yeah, they were all just put in a room. If you were slower, or if you were weird, or if you were even socially ostracized by the other kids, which was an indication, at least by my understanding, it's just probably something a little bit wrong with you, you were put in the rubber room back then. There were no counselors. There was no battery of tests. There was no diagnosis. It was just go and hang out with the other distracted kids and try and get your grades up. The rubber room. I don't even know why we called it the rubber room. Rubberheads. I think it was because we referred to them all as rubberheads. Because we were mean. Jeff says, a lot of over-reporting. I'm antisocial in person, and someone tried telling me I'm on the spectrum. Shut the hell up. I just don't like people. Jeff, that's a very good point. That is another reason why I believe that autism rates are skyrocketing. One, because there is more opportunity for concerned mothers to have an explanation for why their kid is weird. And I think it is over-reporting. I think that there are a lot of parents who are seeking an autism diagnosis so that they can help explain some of the things about their kid. And again, I don't really understand. Everyone is on the spectrum, as we talked about yesterday. Everybody in some way, shape, or form is on the spectrum. I guess there's just the apex, which would be Rain Man, right? Autism. And then everybody else is like, some lesser variant of that. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not all that concerned about autism. I'm just not. I think we live in a world where there are highly functioning people who are just a little bit odd and a little bit different, and they've made their way in life and they're happy. They don't know anything different. We marry them. Yeah, sometimes they're really hot. We marry them. Sometimes they're like super rich lawyers. Sometimes they're very successful business people. But they're all on the spectrum, and now there's more autistic people, so it must be Tylenol's fault. For all you handmaids out there, you handmaiden truthers, just another example of the Trump administration trying to inflict unnecessary pain on pregnant women. That's right. What's the matter, pregnant lady? You got a headache? You want to take some Tylenol? Not anymore. Trump said drink a glass of water and toughen it out. All right, Frankie's got a trans comment here. Lots of trans folks are autistic. No connection, probably. Well, what would you think the connection would be? Because I believe that in a lot of cases that we're seeing in trans, that being trans is a choice. That is not to say that all trans people are making a choice. I do believe that there is a phenomena where the brain is a little bit mixed up and thinks it's in the wrong body, and that's a very real thing, right? Wrong body syndrome or whatever we used to call it. That's very real. Those people exist. And I hope there's help for them, because that's, to me, a terrible way of going through life. I mean, I'm a guy. I think like a guy. I believe that I'm a guy. I'm very upset with the way this guy turned out, but I am a guy, and and I know that. I think that what we have here in 2025 is, well, like I say, trans is the new punk rock. There are a lot of kids, there are a lot of young people who are now seeing a new group that they can belong to, whether or not they're actually suffering from this body dysmorphia or just, feeling exiled due to what? Possibly being autistic, being on the spectrum. So, Frank, I don't disagree with you, man. Although the connection, I don't think they're not the same things. Autism is a very real thing that I think all of us suffer with through some degree. I mean, what is normal? I don't know. But autism is real. We know that. Trans body dysmorphia, I believe, is real. What I don't believe is real, I guess, is like the 80% of new trans we have walking around now who are, it's only because there's no good punk rock anymore. I had to find another socially marginalized group to be victimized in. That's what's happening. Testosterone falling. Dr. Frank, I'm going to need you. What is that? What do you mean testosterone falling? You got numbers on that? How do you back that up? Where does that come from? I know that testosterone treatment is a new thing because it was recently discovered and then mass marketed to dudes who were made to feel less than. But I don't know that there is an actual decrease in male testosterone. Unless it can be explained away by we don't produce as much testosterone because we're basically desk sitters now, as opposed to big, strong guys digging holes and fighting back. I don't know. Could that be a reason? I don't know. But hadn't there always been pussies? Like, hasn't the pussy male always existed? I have a bunch of friends who swear by that. I love it, man. I take it to testosterone. You should take it. I'm like, nah, I'm fucking good. Dude, all I want to do is fuck now. Yeah, I'm trying to get to a point in my life where that is not something I want to do at all. I can't wait to get to, my old age where sex is just completely off the menu. I'm all sexed out. I've had all the sex I need. I've had a lot of good sex. It's not like, anybody's holding any parades for me or parades. That was a weird reference. What's this now? Oh, God. Kamala Harris is back. Oh, no. Oh, no. What, she got a book she promoting? I'm watching her on TV. All right, let's keep going. All right, so where were we? Tylenol, that's right. So let me get into this, right? We didn't even tell you the whole story here. So President Trump, held a press conference yesterday with two of America's greatest medical minds, of course, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Dr. Oz. Really? Dr. Oz. The only reason Dr. Oz is there is because dumb people know who he is. Well, he's on my TV, so he must be one of the best doctors. I guess they couldn't get Trapper John or Doogie Howser. Dr. Oz is not some great fucking no, he's not. He's a TV guy. He's a regular doctor, got discovered by Oprah. Now dummies think he's like some great medical mind. Why? Because Oprah liked him. Thanks, Oprah. Anyway, Dr. Oz and RFK Jr. come out. They're flanking Trump. Trump comes out and he's like, Tylenol, fuck it. Like basically they're going to, here's the real nuts and bolts of it. So the Trump administration, the Health and Human Nonsense Department that is headed up by RFK Jr. will now be actively advising America's doctors to not prescribe Tylenol to pregnant women. All right, that's what it is. They're not pulling Tylenol off the shelves or anything like this, but it's a rough day for Tylenol, man, right? You're one of these rich dudes who's like, on the board of Tylenol. You're like sitting there, what the fuck? Didn't we pay him? Didn't we donate to his campaign or whatever? Now, I don't know why. I do not know why this is now a thing, Tylenol. Most straight and recognized universal studies say that this is not, a thing, that Tylenol does not, in fact, cause. However, there is something that they offered as an antidote to Tylenol, that if you do take Tylenol, there is this other new thing that they mentioned yesterday that I've never heard of before, but I am certain the Trump boys hold stock in. They mentioned that yesterday. I don't know what that was all about. So there you go. So Robert Kennedy comes out and he starts talking, and I can make fun of him because I got a bad voice too, okay? Robert Kennedy comes out and he starts talking about Tylenol is bad. Now, why is he doing this? And why is Trump allowing it? I don't know. I think Trump grew up in an era where it was the height of success to be associated with a Kennedy. In the 1960s and the 1970s, if you were a wealthy socialite in Manhattan or wherever, if you were friends with Jackie O, oh my God. And I think that's Trump's mentality. I think Trump really enjoys the fact that he's got a Kennedy now in his crew. I don't think it's anything more than that, other than Donald Trump probably admires Robert F. Kennedy, and now he's got his son. And so when his son says shit, Trump's like, oh, okay. Trump likes when people that he thinks are cool like him back. Putin is a great example of that. There's another guy that he thinks is cool. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't want to go off on that bunny hole. Robert F. Kennedy years ago started this nonsense about autism, right? He did it to sell books. He was selling books, that's all. And then that coincided with this whole MAGA rise. And now all of a sudden there's like an audience for people selling these kinds of books, these kinds of anti-science, big government and dark pharma has been lying to you. There was a whole market that he discovered for that. And that market in the Venn diagram intersects beautifully with MAGA. So now Robert F. Kennedy is MAGA, which is interesting because his entire fucking life he was a liberal Democrat, but now and like a real liberal Democrat. Like when the rest of the Kennedys in the 80s were trying like Ted to kind of bring it a little bit more to the middle, you had guys like RFK Jr. around there doing major protests for like clean river and all that kind of stuff. Hippie bullshit you people always hated. But because of the book sales and suddenly he's this anti-vaxxer guy, all of a sudden he's now involved in this whole MAGA thing, and Trump likes a Kennedy, and look at now he's in charge. And he's going to get rid of Tylenol again because it goes back to his original contention that he was widely mocked and derided for, this idea that, vaccines and Tylenols and all these kinds of things are the reason for autism. His books and all that and the rise of autism, coincidentally, as people point out ad nauseum, coincided with the actual beginning of testing people for autism. So again, you can connect the dots if you want to look at it. He was trying to sell books. He was a loser Kennedy. He was trying to make a name for himself. And look at him. Now he's the most famous Kennedy in the world. So that's what that's about. That's a little flim-flam show going on. I took aspirin last night, and I specifically took Tylenol. It's like, I got acetaminophen, I got ibuprofen. If I'm being honest, I'm an ibuprofen guy. I know it's the Coke and Pepsi of painkillers, right? You're either acetaminophen or ibuprofen. I find that ibuprofen works pretty well. Although, and this might blow this up, for headaches, the absolute best headache medication is Excedrin. Is extra strength Excedrin. I don't know what's in Excedrin. Let me see what's in Excedrin. I don't know if that's acetaminophen or let's see, Excedrin. All right, let's see. What is Excedrin? I don't know if it's ibuprofen. What is it? Excedrin is a brand of non-prescription pain relievers, primarily Excedrin extra strength and Excedrin migraine that combine aspirin, acetaminophen, and caffeine. All right, there you go. Provides fast relief from headaches. Yeah, all right, so it is acetaminophen. So the best headache brand, the best headache buster for me, and I have to imagine our body chemistries are all slightly different, but the best one for me is Excedrin. That's the one I choose when I really have a headache. But yesterday, for a little bit of like soreness, I was having some soreness in my knees and my lower half. I got a lower body. In hockey parlance, injury report, I got a lower body. So I took some Tylenol. Because I'm a rebel. Let's see here. Al's got a big question. Nope, sorry. Here, Al says, nope, hold on. Here we go. There it is. Al says, can you take ibuprofen on an empty stomach? It will burn like crazy in your stomach. I don't know if I've ever experienced that. I've never had a bad reaction to any aspirin. I was gonna say I had a bad reaction to a painkiller once. A buddy gave me a morphine. First of all, where you got like straight up morphine from? Isn't that like just heroin in pill form? Well, what is this? I don't remember what it was. Oh, I do. It was when I broke my eye socket. Yeah. I got a broken eye socket in a fight with a girl. I got hit in the face with a watch box, like a big, fancy, expensive watch box. It was flung across the room and it hit me right in the face and broke my eye socket. And a friend of mine gave me a morphine pill. He said, "Here, take this tonight and then don't leave your bedroom." I got so fucking sick. I got so sick. I was vomiting. So now I'm like in a lot of pain. My face is all swollen up and now I'm vomiting. It was not good. Leslie says you're supposed to take ibuprofen with food. Look at you, nerd. What do you read in the back of the bottle? Nerd. I don't know anything about that. Barney checking in. Barney says he's on naproxen. I'm naproxen, the Dr. Pepper of painkillers. I don't know what naproxen is. You know what I can't take though? I can't take codeine. That's the one thing that I know that I can't take, and I think that's why I took the morphine, because I can't take codeine. Codeine, if I take like a Tylenol 2 or something like that, oh my, I'm like a junkie. My skin crawls. I get so itchy. Oh, it is the worst, because not only am I in pain, but now I'm itchy and in pain. All right, so Tylenol. Trump went hard on Tylenol because Robert F. Kennedy needs to justify a bunch of crazy books that he wrote 15 years ago. There you go. All right, what else do we have here? Jimmy Kimmel. The return of Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel returns tonight on ABC. It's not going to be on every ABC station because there are some stations in MAGA country who are just going to, watch a replay of church every night. You can do that. Have at it, Cedar Rapids. Enjoy. Whatever. Nobody's fucking watching Jimmy Kimmel anyway. Until tonight. Tonight, according to Adweek, I got a story here. This will be the single largest show ratings-wise and revenue-wise in the history of Jimmy Kimmel Live. And this will benefit because they will sell ads tonight in packaged with the next couple of weeks. So Disney, you knew they were is gonna make a boatload of money off of the next couple of weeks of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Look, the rich guys always, whatever. The rich guys always make their money. There's never not going to be I know that I will be watching. I will be tuning into tonight's Jimmy Kimmel Live to see what this whole thing looks like now that, we've come through I want to see what his attitude is. And, I'm very interested. It'll be the first time I've tuned into Jimmy Kimmel Live, and if I'm being honest, ever. I've caught clips. I think Jimmy Kimmel's funny. I think he's a good dude. Like I said, I've met him, and he seems like he carried himself like a good dude, like not like an asshole. And so many people like him carry themselves like assholes. But I've never watched his show. I mean, I think I was long off late night TV before he debuted. He debuted when in like 2000, 2001. Yeah, I wasn't watching late night TV. I was already doing something else. Let's see here. Nexstar Stations, which is the station group that owns 30 something ABC affiliates. Again, there are two kinds. There is owned and operated, which is what we have here in Dallas, or to my friends in Chicago. Those are owned and operated stations by Disney Corp that air ABC programming. So ABC Network, if you're really a part of the ABC Network, you are an owned and operated. However, Disney doesn't want to waste their time, or at least in the past when regional rural TV wasn't much of a moneymaker. So there is another kind, and that is the affiliate network. Okay. So Nexstar owns a bunch of TV stations in rural America. and many of them are ABC affiliates. Nexstar, because they can do this, because they're basically a middleman in this whole thing, Nexstar says the programming that we are contractually obligated to air from Disney violates our community standards, so we will not be airing Jimmy Kimmel. That's fine. That's how this whole thing started. Sinclair is another major, I don't know. I think Sinclair's got some fairly big cities, not ABC affiliates, but Sinclair owns WGN in Chicago, which is a fairly big market, and I'm sure a very big moneymaker for them. But Sinclair also owns a bunch of ABC affiliates spread out around the country. Sinclair has said that they also will continue to not air the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Both Sinclair and Nexstar are said to be in negotiations as I speak with Disney higher-ups about this situation. For Disney's part, they're basically saying, fuck them. That's, yeah, whatever. That's fine. You people weren't watching anyway. But these local station groups now, and I'd be interested to see what some of them put on, they're going to be forced to scramble. They're going to have to put on something. Many will produce local shows. Maybe they'll do an extension of their 10 o'clock news. Who knows? Might be cool. You know, I'm all for local production, so maybe this is a good thing. But, you know, bottom line is, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect the major cities, the big media markets where they do all of their advertising in. It's not going to affect New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta. It's not going to affect any of those. You may have difficulty, you know, seeing it in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but so's life. Life is difficult. Move from fucking Grand Rapids, Michigan. How about that? Let's see here. Nexstar, I do have the number here. Nexstar has 32 ABC affiliates. Let me see where they are. All right, let me pull up the next. I've actually got a list here. Nexstar Station Group list of assets owned. All right, so this is Nexstar. Who will not be getting the Jimmy Kimmel Show tonight? Well, WDHN in Dothan, Alabama. They ain't going to be getting Jimmy Kimmel tonight. Who else do we have here? Who else? It says there's 30 of them. Oh, here we go. WTNH in New Haven, Connecticut, ABC affiliate, will not be airing Jimmy Kimmel. That's a station group decision. I cannot imagine that the people of New Haven, Connecticut, very wealthy, New York, Ivy League, they're going to want Jimmy Kimmel back. I imagine this station's going to cave. All right, let's see. What other Nexstar media stations do we have that are ABC affiliates? A lot of CW. They're rocking a lot of CW. Look at this in Panama City, Florida, Panhandle, folks. They got a station there, WMBB, that is half the CW and half ABC. I imagine you won't be seeing Jimmy Kimmel in Panama City, Florida. Let's see. Oh, in Augusta, Georgia. Okay, in Augusta, Georgia, station WJBF is affiliates of ABC, MeTV, and the CW. I imagine they will probably not be airing Jimmy Kimmel. However, these station groups, these stations, these individual stations that have multiple networks that they draw from, they'll be fine. Like, look at the station in Augusta, Georgia. They've got ABC. So maybe they pull Jimmy Kimmel at late night and they replace it with the CW. I don't know, replays of Martin coming. Here you go. Martin and Moesha hour. Probably do better ratings, got to be honest with you. What else do we have here? Any other ABC stations? You got Evansville, Indiana. Evansville, Indiana. That is rural America. You ever seen it's a college town. There is Evansville University down there in Evansville, Indiana. Have you ever seen the Evansville University basketball team play a game? You might not remember that it was Evansville, but you probably have. They wear gray T-shirts. That's their uniform. Their school is so poor, they wear gray T-shirts. Yeah, you know, but there's a basketball jersey that you're supposed. No, they wear T-shirts at Evansville. Evansville, Indiana will not be watching Jimmy Kimmel tonight. Terre Haute, Indiana, not watching. Sioux City, Iowa, KCAU, not watching Jimmy Kimmel tonight. Topeka, Kansas, KTKA, not watching Jimmy Kimmel tonight. See what I mean? You know who is watching Jimmy Kimmel? New York, Boston, Miami, Chicago, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, San Francisco, Phoenix. See what I'm saying? All right. So, although Disney seemed to buckle at the beginning to these rural station groups going, we're going to push back, they are certainly not doing it anymore. And I love that. These rural station groups should be able to air whatever the fuck they want. And if they don't want to air a specific thing from the network that they subscribe to, fine. What's the big deal? Let them not air it. That's where we are. That's where I am. But that's not the case, though, see, because a lot of people are turning this into something more. This isn't just about a station that acts as a middleman for rural audiences with network programming. No, it's not just simple as that. No, it's all about, which side are you on? It's all absurd. Nobody in Sioux City, Iowa is going to miss Jimmy Kimmel tonight, okay? There was probably 30 people in the entire metropolitan area watching any given night anyway. So screw it. Let's not worry about it. Kimmel returns tonight to ABC stations. We'll be able to watch him here in Dallas, of course, because we're a fucking sophisticated real city. And to my friends in Chicago, you'll be able to see him too. Just don't worry about your cousins there in Dothan, Alabama. Let's see here. Interesting to see the numbers. I want to see what the numbers are. They're saying that these could be the largest numbers that late night talk TV has seen in a very long time. Breaking right now. Jimmy Kimmel Show returning tonight. Who's the guy? Wonder who the guests are. That'd be interesting, right? You would think that after the 400 major A-list celebrities put the screws to Disney, forcing them to bring Kimmel back on, you would think that maybe some of those A-list celebrities might be popping up over the next couple of weeks. I don't know. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about here today? We did the Kim. We did the Tylenol. Let's get into the Elon's dad story. Holy shit, you guys. New York Times, big, giant, splashy story today about Errol Musk. Errol Musk, who is the father of Elon Musk. He's being accused by a bunch of people. There are allegations dating back decades that this guy is a serial child diddler, but not just, it's worse. Look, how does it get worse than being a serial child diddler? When you're diddling your own kids? Yeah, Errol Musk is being accused of diddling a bunch of his own kids. Apparently, he's got a whole bunch of kids. He's like 1 million years old, and he's got like a 5-year-old. Seriously, Errol Musk is a weird dude. Elon, I think we all know Elon is very weird. But his dad is okay, so let's get into it. Let's see. The allegations against Errol Musk involve 5 of his children and stepchildren, whom he was accused of abusing in both South Africa and California. This, according to police and court records, personal correspondence, social workers' testimony, and interviews with other family members. It's a lot of people who are like, yeah, Errol Musk is diddling all his kids. That's a lot of people who are going on record with that. The earliest accusation was in 1993 when Errol Musk's stepdaughter, you ready for this? Buckle up, mother. Oh my God. Seriously, buckle up. The earliest accusation was in 1993 when Errol Musk's stepdaughter, then 4 years old, told relatives that he had touched her at the family house. 4 years old, 1993. He diddles a little 4-year-old girl. She's like, Mommy, Grandpappy touched me, or whatever it was. 1993, 4 years old. A decade later, 14, a decade later, the stepdaughter said that she caught him sniffing her dirty underwear multiple times. Some family members have also accused Errol Musk of abusing 2 of his daughters and a stepson. And as recently as 2023, family members and a social worker attempted to intervene after his then 5-year-old son said his father had groped his buttocks. 5 years old, 2023, it's 2 years ago. Elon Musk is like 80. Elon Musk is like 80. He's got like a 7-year-old son. He's still pumping kids out at 73, which means he's with women who are young enough to pump kids out when he's 73. 3 separate police investigations were opened on Elon Musk, according to the police and court records, as well as family members. 2 of the inquiries ended, while it is unclear what happened in the third. Well, I think I got to guess. I think that what happened in the third is that Elon Musk's son became the most powerful person in the world. I might explain it. Maybe we should look into that. 3 separate police investigations were opened against Elon Musk, according to police and court records, as well as family members. 2 of the inquiries ended, while it is unclear what happened in the third. Elon Musk, currently 79 years old, has not been convicted of any crime. Is that lack of evidence, or is that because of his last name and who his son is? I don't know. The abuse allegations have caused strife, though, within the Musk family. Many relatives turning to Elon, who is Elon Musk's oldest child. Around 2010, one relative wrote Elon Musk a 5-page letter about some of the accusations and implored him to intervene. A quote now from the letter the family member sent to Elon. "We really need your advice, help, and guidance in these matters because we daily see these children suffer," the relative wrote, which was viewed by the Times. Elon Musk, who has at least 9 children and stepchildren and has been married to 3 women, maintains a powerful grip over much of his family. The former stepdaughter, whom he was accused of touching when she was 4, said she later had a child with him. That's burying the lead there, huh? That should have been in the very first sentence. So back in 1993, he was accused of, diddling. That's what I call, handsy stuff. He was accused of diddling his 4-year-old stepdaughter. And 10 years later, she caught him sniffing his panties. And now here in 2025, that daughter is all grown up and she's like, "Oh yeah, I also had a kid with him. That's his kid." I mean, sounds like something that you could probably prove. DNA and all that kind of stuff. All right, let's see here. So she is, let's see. The former stepdaughter, whom he was accused of touching when she was 4, said she later had a child with him when she was in her 20s. She has since struggled with drug use, while her mother, who married Elon Musk twice, has grappled with severe mental health issues. Elon Musk has, quote, "left a massive wound in our family," Elmi Smith, whose sister was his 3rd wife, said in her first on-the-record interview about the allegations. She said she'd emailed Elon about some of the allegations and sometimes heard from an assistant. In response to questions from the New York Times, Elon Musk said, quote, "the reports are false and nonsense in the extreme." Well, there is one thing I just need the answer to. Did you have a daughter with your stepdaughter whom you were accused of molesting when she was 4? Yes or no? And if you say no, well, I'm sorry, Elon Musk, but I'm going to need to see some kind of science on that. We're going to need a blood test. In one email to the Times, Elon Musk also claimed to be aware of only one abuse allegation, but in the same message, he offered explanations for the circumstances surrounding 2 others. So that's comfort. That's a rich old man. By the way, Elon Musk's dad, Elon Musk, he's a rich guy. He's a super rich guy. Elon Musk didn't come from nothing. Elon Musk came from a dude who ran and owned emerald mines in South Africa. Yeah, that's who Elon Musk is. So, again, not a self-made guy. His father was also a politician down there. So he's a super rich guy, super political. Obviously believes he can get away with whatever he wants. He's so comfortable that he says, I've only been accused of molesting 1 child that I'm aware of. And then he goes on to explain away 2 other charges that he... So there were 2 others? So just the one? What? Let's see here. All right, that's it. That's all we need to know about Elon Musk. Although, no, we should look at him, right? Let's take a look at him. See what this guy looks like. See if he looks like Elon. Let me pull up a picture. right. This is Elon Musk's father, Errol, who's being accused by multiple people in his own family of diddling kids. Let's see him. There he is. Look at him. Kind of, yeah, man. Right, all right. The eyes, man. These fucking eyes, dude. I totally see. That's the window, right? That's what I always look at first when somebody says this is my kid. I always look at the eyes. I'm like, is it the same eyes? Elon, this is definitely got his dad's side by side. Yeah, it's the eyes. It's the eyes and the smile. There's like a dopey kind of, yeah, okay. I mean, he definitely looks like him. There they are together. The Antichrist and a child molester. There you have them. The Antichrist and a child molester, side by side. Tonight's Kimmel's guests, Glenn Powell and Sarah McLachlan. The mystery. I'm building a mystery. That's Sarah McLachlan having a moment, right? What's Sarah McLachlan doing back all of a sudden? I guess there's a special. There's a Hulu special on the Lilith tour. I went to the Lilith tour. It was a good tour. I had a good time. I was a big 10,000 Maniacs fan at the time, and Natalie Merchant was there, so I went to see Natalie Merchant and Sarah McLachlan because I like Sarah McLachlan. My girlfriend, it was one of them concerts that you could go to with your girlfriend because your girlfriend was probably into it. My girlfriend was way into like Tori Amos, who I think was also there. The Lilith Fair was a counter to well, what did we have? We had Lollapalooza, and then what was the other one? What was the other one that Soul Asylum did that I thought was better than Lollapalooza? Anyway, there was a whole bunch of concert festivals. There had never been concert festivals. There was Woodstock. And then all of a sudden in the 90s, like we started putting on these touring concert festivals. And Sarah McLachlan, who was having big hits on the radio at the time, was like, I want to tour, but I don't want to go on any of these big giant tours. So she started her own thing called the Lilith Tour, and it was dedicated to female artists. So it was all chick rockers. Joan Jett. Saw Joan Jett there at Lilith. It was pretty cool, man. It was pretty cool. So there's a new, I guess, Hulu documentary about the Lilith tour and Sarah McLachlan. And I saw her on something else. She was trying to. Anyway, Sarah McLachlan's going to be on Kimmel tonight. Told you the story about how she was insulted by her husband in front of my wife and me backstage at QN01's Jingle Bash 1997. I'm going to say 1997. Sarah McLachlan looked a lot like my first wife. They were very similar. Their eyes were like almost identical. That's all. And Sarah McLachlan's husband said something real insulting to Sarah McLachlan in front of all of us. Somebody came up and said, somebody says you guys look alike, right? About my wife at the time and Sarah McLachlan. And Sarah McLachlan went, oh, and she smiled, and my wife smiled. It was all very nervous. And then Sarah McLachlan's husband goes, yeah, but she's prettier. And pointed to my wife. I'm like, all of us were like it was like just such a horrible thing. And Sarah McLachlan just turned and walked away. And I'm like, I bet they're not married anymore. I bet that's a relationship on the rocks. But also, is the drummer from Sarah McLachlan's band hitting on my wife right in front of me? I can't tell. That was weird. I like Sarah McLachlan. She's awesome. She's a cool chick. She's a cool lady. So there you go. That's tonight. Tonight on Jimmy Kimmel. Glenn Powell. I also like Glenn Powell. That's a good one, right? Glenn Powell. Wasn't he the dickbag from Top Gun Maverick, right? Wasn't he like the new Iceman, the new a-hole, whatever that guy is? All right. Barney on the subject of Errol Morris molesting all of his kids got a good point. He says you just can't do things like that without directing great movies first. That's true. That is true. Let's see. What else do we have here? Well, all right. Now let's move on. I think we've done enough with Elon's dad. I didn't even read the whole New York Times story. I just got you the best bullet points. We know, we understand what the charges are, and that's kind of the point of this show. What are we going to do here? There's something going on outside. I think that there are people here. Guys, I might have to wrap this show up. I hear female voices. I hear middle-aged female voices. That means ladies shopping for art. Somebody's out in the hallway. I gotta go. I'm not gonna check. All right, look, we're gonna dial in here. Here we go. We'll wrap the show up here. I want to do the death trilogies. We've been keeping track. I've been keeping track of the death trilogies here in the year 2025. It's actually, believe it or not, stupid work. It's like I gotta go and I gotta look at all the obituaries, and then like I'll see a name I recognize, and then I gotta decide. Got to click on their Wikipedia page, read about it. I got to decide, do they make it? I don't know. Does the lead singer of the Turtles make it? I don't know. Right? We got to figure this out. So what I want to do is play catch up here. We've had some major celebrity passings over the course of the last couple of weeks. So let's figure out where exactly we are in the 2025 Celebrity Death Trilogy. That's right. Celebrities, they always die in threes. Let's see where we are here. Hold on. Do we have it? I mean, I know we have it. Building a mystery. Now I got a Sarah McLachlan song stuck in my head. It's a good song. It's a good song. Death trilogies. All right, here we go. Death trilogies. All right, we'll play a little catch up here. I'll tell you how it all started. It all started way back in January. That's right. Death trilogies for the year begin at midnight on New Year's Day. So New Year's Day starts off the new death trilogy for the year. If we didn't have a complete death trilogy by the time the previous year ends, well, then that wasn't a trilogy. And whoever the celebrities, the two celebrities that didn't have a third, they will spend the rest of their life in purgatory. That's how it works. We start a new death trilogy on the first of the American year, which is January 1st. And we got our first death trilogy on the dates January 1st, January 7th, and January 10th. That was on January 1st. We had Wayne Osmond. That's right. One of the Osmonds. Remember Wayne from the Osmonds variety show? Wayne Osmond died on January 1st. Peter Yarrow then died on January 7th. Peter Yarrow is, of course, Peter of Peter, Paul, and Mary, Puff the Magic Dragon, and all that stuff. Peter Yarrow joins Wayne Osmond in the first Celebrity Death Trilogy of 2025. And it's rounded out with former University of Colorado football coach and he's also, he started like Promise Keepers and all that, became a really big social activist, Bill McCartney. So the first death trilogy happened between January 1st and January 10th, 10 days. That was the perfect trilogy. Wayne Osmond, Peter Yarrow, and Bill McCartney. Okay? That's how the year started. Let's see where we are now. Let me go all the way down and let us get caught up, okay? Okay, all right, here we go. All right, so when last we did our death trilogy, we had finished the 16th Celebrity Death Trilogy of 2025. That was astronaut and Apollo 13 subject Jim Lovell, American hero. And then it was on August 11th. Jim Lovell was August 7th. On August 11th, we lost D from What's Happening, D. And then British actor Terence Stamp rounded out the 16th Death Trilogy. That was August 7th through August 17th. Jim Lovell, Danielle Spencer, D from What's Happening, and Terence Stamp. That was 16th. We followed that up with Death Trilogy 17, which began on September the 1st and ended on September 5th. That included Graham Greene. He's that Indian actor. He played every Indian police chief from a reservation that you've ever seen. That's him, Graham Greene. Very recognizable, died on the 1st of September. He was followed by Giorgio Armani. Giorgio Armani died on September the 4th, and they were followed by Davey Johnson, World Series winning manager, used to smoke in the dugout. Wait, did Davey Johnson win the World Series? I don't think Davey, did he with the Mets? Davey Johnson rounds out that. He's a baseball luminary. Davey Johnson, Graham Greene, and Giorgio Armani make up the 17th death trilogy of 2025. All right. The 18th came just last week or within the last 10 days. On September the 5th, yes, I decided that Mark Volman, the voice of the Turtles and Flo and Eddie, who passed on September 5th, September 5th gets in. Mark Volman, the Turtles, I'm Into Something Good, whole bunch of 60s hits. Then he was a part of Flo and Eddie, who are integral if you're a fan of Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. He's a very cool music guy, maybe not the biggest name, but if you saw him, you might go, oh, yeah, I recognize that guy from 60s music. Mark Volman died on September 5th. He starts out the 18th death trilogy of 2025. He's followed up. This is crazy. I didn't even know this guy died. And I look at the name, and the name, it's not like a household name, but I mean, I know music a little bit, right? And so I recognize the name, and I go, wait, is that? And then I'm like, holy shit, it is. That guy died, and it wasn't reported anywhere. Well, let me give you an example of this guy. Look at me, Mr. Popular. Everybody's blowing up my phone now. Okay. All right, this guy died. We had Mark Volman on September 5th, and then we had Rick Davies. Rick Davies died. Lead singer, founder, Supertramp. Huge band.
When I was young, it seemed that life was so wonderful.
Huh? One-hit wonders? No. Supertramp's got a shit ton of songs. All right, there you go. All right, so he makes the list. That's Rick Davies. He was 81, English musician, founder of Supertramp, lead singer, Goodbye Stranger, Bloody Well Right, all of that. He joins Mark Volman of the Turtles in the 18th death trilogy of 2025. This death trilogy was rounded out by Flo. Flo died. Polly Holiday, Flo from the Alice TV show. She died on, whatever, I don't have the date here. September 6th? September 7th. Polly Holiday. All right. Rick Davies, Mark Volman of the Turtles, and Polly Holiday. That's the 18th. All right, here we go. Here's the 19th. We just finished this one, and it needs to be addressed. The 19th death trilogy comes to a close. On September the 10th, Charlie Kirk passes away. He is the first entrant into the 19th death trilogy of 2025. Charlie Kirk, September 10th. September 14th, boxing legend, one of my favorite boxers to watch, Ricky Hatton. Nails. Ricky Hatton, the multi-division champion, British boxing icon. They love him. He raging alcoholic, wonderful spirit. He was a good drunk. He was like when, a guy who's really good at fighting, if they're alcoholics, it could go bad. But no, Ricky Hatton was a good drunk. He fell down and hurt himself, not other people. Ricky Hatton, dead on September the 14th. WBA world welterweight champion, super lightweight champion. He was a hell of a boxer, man. You know what Ricky Hatton was? Let me tell you what Ricky Hatton was. Ricky Hatton was one of those boxers who fought and cleaned out every division. Nobody could beat him until he fought the champion. And then the champion would beat him. Oh, no. Ricky Hatton lost to Manny Pacquiao again. Oh, no. Yeah, it was one of those. Ricky Hatton was a cool-ass boxer. He died on September the 14th. He joins Charlie Kirk, who passed on September the 10th. And then on September the 16th, this is the most recent conclusion of a death trilogy that we have. The great Robert Redford died on September the 16th at 89. And there we have it. 19 complete death trilogies as we barrel into October, the final 3 months of the year. How many more will we get? I imagine we're going to get 22 this year. I think we'll get to at least 22 Death trilogies. Now let's talk about Robert Redford, who passed away last week. I wasn't on the air. Didn't really do a whole lot of talking about him, but I do want to mention this. Robert Redford was one of my favorite actors of all time. Low key. One of those dudes that if I was to sit down and make a list of my favorite actors, I might think of him around, 15, 16, 17, but upon further review, I should really have him ranked higher. I think it's because he wasn't as high profile in the last 35, 40 years as he had been in the first, say, 20 years of my life. Robert Redford was as big a movie star in the 1970s as the world has ever known. He's as big as Brad Pitt. He's as big as Leonardo, whatever you want to say. Robert Redford was the guy. He could do no wrong. And when you look at his filmography, okay, it's pretty incredible. So we're going to do something we haven't done in a very, very long time. We are going to do a Robert Redford draft. Just films, okay? We're not going to get into his directing because he did a whole lot of directing. We're just going to get into his acting roles. So what are the best films that Robert Redford was in as judged by yours truly? All right, so it's draft. So we got to go with the first pick overall being the absolute best thing that he ever did, and we are going to open things up with 1973's The Sting. The Sting is easily my favorite Robert Redford movie. Why? Because it's Robert Redford with another one of my favorite actors of all time. Of course, I'm talking about Paul Newman. Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Now, one would think, well, why didn't you put Butch and Sundance? Well, just hold on. It might make the list, but also The Sting is better. The Sting is a better film than Butch and Sundance, at least to my palate and tastes. All right, first pick overall, we're going with The Sting. Second pick overall in the Robert Redford draft. Number 2 off the board. A lot of choices here, but number 2 off the board, I think it's the second best baseball movie ever made. The Natural. Roy Hobbs. He played Roy Hobbs in The Natural. If you've never seen The Natural and you're a American male, you suck. Get out there and see The Natural. Story of Roy Hobbs, the greatest baseball player that ever lived. His career was interrupted. That's the story of The Natural. That's number 2. All right, let's see. What else are we going to do? This is third. Not going to include any of the Marvel stuff. Of course, plays Alexander Pierce in the Avengers movies. Isn't he a crooked like politician or something? All right, let's go with number 3. Number 3 in the where is it? I gotta find it. Can't find it. There it is. Number 3 in my Robert Redford draft. One of my favorite movies. I think it's better than The Sting, and The Sting is one of my favorite movies, but on a list of favorite movies, this one comes in easily in the top 5. I love it. I watch it. I haven't seen it in a while. It's one of these movies I'm going to watch with my son when my son's a little bit older. I just love this film. All the President's Men from 1976, the story of Woodward and Bernstein. A couple of scrappy journalists, Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman, who take down the President of the United States. All the President's Men is number 3 off the board in the Robert Redford draft. Now, this next one is just because I was a dumb kid in the 1970s, and this is kind of a cool movie. Brubaker. Brubaker from 1980 is number 4. Number five on my top 5 Robert Redford draft. Yeah, we're going to do it. Butch and Sundance. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid comes in at number 5. It's pretty good. So recapping now, my Robert Redford draft. First off the board is The Sting. Number 2 is, how did I just blank on number 2? Wait, The Natural. Thank you. Number 2 is The Natural. Number 3 is All the President's Men. Number 4 is Brubaker. And number 5, Butch and Sundance. The great Robert Redford. All right. Guys, while we're all gathered here, I think it's incumbent upon me to remind you yet again that tonight we're doing trash trivia. We got trash trivia going on tonight out there at the Back 9 in Addison, 4060 Beltline Road. One more time, let me give you the categories because I know some of you enjoy hearing the categories. Tonight's 2 rounds of competitive trash trivia at the Back 9 will consist of the following categories. Round 1 will start with random. Then the second category will be current events. These are all questions about the past 7 days in America. Category 3 is gangster actors. Gangster actors. I will describe a great gangster from a film. You tell me the actor who portrayed said gangster. And the last category in round 1, sports. Sports. Typical sports. Not hard sports. I'm not going to ask you stats or anything like that, but just like, you know, where do the Golden State Warriors play? Right? There you go. Category, or round 2, I should say. We're going to start out again with a random category. Category 1 in both rounds are always going to be random, light stretching. Then we go with name the band. Name the band is category 2. I'm going to give you a bunch of songs that have been hits for a particular band. You tell me what band had hits with those songs. Category 3, we're going to do history. Just history, just straight up trivia category, history. And we're going to round things out tonight at the Back 9 trivia with food and drink category. Food and drink. Questions concerning things we eat and things that we drink. All right, that's tonight, 4060 Beltline Road there in Addison. Let me see. Mama B says, my favorite Robert Redford movie, All the President's Men. Yeah, it's a good one. It's my number 3. I have a real, like The Sting, which was my number 1. The Sting was my grandpa's favorite movie. And he took me to see it in the theaters. I was really little. But then every time it would come on TV, we'd make a point to watch it. So, you know, I'm a little biased on The Sting, but still fantastic. All the President's Men, though, that's good. I want to watch that with my kids someday. Just when I feel like he can pay attention to a 3-hour movie that is steeped in actual history. That's what I'm hoping for. What else do we have here? All the President's Men is a must-see for Mason. Yeah, I think that anybody who's going to run around the rest of their life claiming to be a First Amendment advocate, they ought to see how the sausage is made, as opposed to just going, all journalists are monsters. Right? That's the easy button. We all like the easy button. Woodward and Bernstein are not monsters. Although I do have kind of an issue with Bob Woodward over the course of the past 10 years. I think that he's just kind of a book selling machine. But Carl Bernstein I like. I still like Bob Woodward too. All right. By the way, in the movie, it was Robert Redford who played Bob Woodward, and it was Carl Bernstein portrayed by Dustin Hoffman. And then, of course, there was Jason Robards. Jason Robards played Ben Bennett. Yep. Editor, I should say. Catherine Graham, of course, the publisher. That's such a great movie. That is such a great movie. Let's see here. Peter also says he appreciates the drafts. Yeah, we used to do drafts daily. We don't really do drafts all that much anymore. Adam is in here. He says, did you hear the story about how Robert Redford didn't get the role taken by Dustin Hoffman in The Graduate? No, but I did hear, like, during all the chatter about Robert Redford passing away, I did hear that he had turned down or was up for the role in The Graduate. But no, I don't know any specific story. Okay, I guess that's it. I guess that's all we need. All right, you too, Peter. You have a great rest of your day too. Thank you for the tip yesterday. Peter gave a tip yesterday. I decided I'm only going to hammer tips, the one time per month, because that's when we really need the tips to come through. That's when, So, but thank you, man. I appreciate the middle of the month guy just thinking, hey, appreciate the show, dropping a tip. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So if you can't make the back nine tonight for trivia, please come by. Please come by Bottle Rockets tomorrow. We'll be at Bottle Rockets in Legacy Village tomorrow night. We're going to start there. I think it's 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Bottle Rockets. And At both Back Nine and Bottle Rockets, we are introducing a new element to our trivia. Between rounds, we will be playing a really high level of paper football. Do you guys remember paper football? Here, I'll show it to you again. Paper football. Brandon decided that he thought people would want to play paper football. So, of course, where is it? So, of course, he had a board made, an actual board for paper football made. Here it is. This is it. We'll show you what it looks like. By the way, in this example, there we go. In this example here, you will see that there are no goalposts. We actually have goalposts.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Look at this. All right, remember we used to play this during, I don't know, you can't go, it's recess, can't go outside so because it's raining, so we would all start playing paper football. You think it's stupid. I know. You guys thought dodgeball was stupid too. But when I brought dodgeball back as a competitive art form here in Dallas-Fort Worth about 20 years ago, everybody loved it. And everybody mocked me until everybody loved it. I'm doing the same with paper football. I'm telling you, we get about 4 of these tables. We set them up in a bar during a football game. Oh, my God. It was contagious because you're like, yeah, that's something I used to be able to do. I wonder if I can still do it. And then you try because you've had 3 beers and you're like, all right, I'm not all as nervous. You people in the bars with these games, let me just tell you something. Stop being so damn nervous. It's always one person. You're all followers. We get what, by the way, we have a person planted. We've been doing this now for a couple weeks. Whenever we say, hey, everybody, we're going to play this game, blah, blah, blah. We need one representative from each team to come play paper football. Or in past weeks, it's been a Pac-Man tournament. And every team is like listening and everybody is sitting there like, I don't want to be the weirdo that stands up. So we have a plant. Somebody stands up and they're like, I'll do it. And then we get out, like, we're like, hey, we got one. Now we need somebody else. And as soon as somebody does it, then everybody from the team is like, well, it's not weird now. And if it is, that's the weird guy, not me. See, we're all just a bundle of fucking anxiety. Come out and have fun. You see a goddamn paper football thing, pick up the football and try and kick a field goal. You don't have to be invited. And once you do, like we had last night, we had the same like 3 dudes like occupying the table all night. They're like, no, we want to play again. We'll play again. It's cool. I think Brandon's onto something. Paper football. Here's a little clip again. Here we go. That's a terrible kick. You can't kick. That's Kirk. Kirk was our champion last night. Kirk couldn't kick to save his life. Gerald over here, who we're seeing in the white t-shirt, Gerald was nailing all the field goals. He was just field goal. He could do it, not Kirk. Kirk couldn't hit field goals. But that's okay because Kirk had a velvet touch. Kirk was scoring touchdowns. He was just touchdown. All right, that's tonight. We'll bring that out to the Back Nine. Come play paper football like we did in the 5th grade. Tonight at the Back Nine and tomorrow at Bottle Rockets up there in Legacy Village. I don't need you people. We're building a nice little in-house crowd. I don't need you people to come. I'd like it if you would. It'd be nice. Oh, and by the way, last week at Legacy Village, that was me meeting Tracy D, changing my life forever. Tracy D, who's been a wonderful supporter of this show over the years. She waited till the end of the night to come say hi to me at Bottle Rockets. And I felt really bad because I'm like, well, I didn't get an opportunity to make this a truly special evening for you. I would have focused on you. I would have made you have fun. Instead, I just treated them like they were regular trivia players. That was great. So, lesson learned. If you do come out and you are a listener of this or whatever, please say hi. I am not going to bite your head off. I'll give you a hug probably, unless you're a dude. And then, we'll fist bump or we'll shake hands like knights. That's my new thing, shaking hands like knights. Come out to either Back Nine tonight or Bottle Rockets tomorrow, and I will shake your hand like a knight. I think it's better than the fist bump. I think it's cooler than the fist bump. And yeah, it has a lot to do with me spending the last couple of months watching nothing but reruns of Vikings in the Last Kingdom. But now I'm walking around shaking people's hands like a knight. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. Hope to see you tonight. If not, we'll rally back here tomorrow. This has been fun, man. This has been fun doing an early show again. Maybe this window of opportunity will open more consistently, and we'll go back to doing shows at noon. We'll have to see how that plays out. All right, my voice is trashed. I love you guys. You're the best. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye.